Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandan Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandan Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhav ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki Nitai Gaura Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Gurudev ki. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Jai. Prabhu, you will translate? So we will do fourth canto, chapter 2, text 1, Prabhu. I am very happy to be back in Rajkot. I feel like it is a dream, you know. And the temple is not of this world. I think even Swargaloka does not look better than this. In Swargaloka, it's very difficult to remember Krishna. But in Radha Nilam Madhav Dham, it is easier. I want to thank Vaishnava Seva Prabhu, Prasanadma Prabhu. You have to thank yourself also. Gaur Sundar Prabhu and all the devotees today. Without all your work, you know, the temple cannot be maintained. And we are very honored to have Rishikesh Prabhu. So 3 loud Haribols for Rishikesh Prabhu. Rishikesh Prabhu was one of the pillars of building this temple. Without Rishikesh Prabhu's support, this temple cannot come. Maharaj personally told me, 2 persons you must look to if you want to build the temple. One is Rishikesh Prabhu and the other is Sajjan Prabhu. And they are the pillars that built this temple for us. Meaning, when sometimes we were in difficulty, they never gave up on Maharaj's vision. So thank you, Prabhu. And thank you, Sajjan Prabhu, wherever you are. Today's a very important occasion. And I'm sorry I'm late because of from airport it took some time, you know. But today is the glorification of Lord Shiva. And today is Mahashivraatri. Sometimes people think that Vaishnavas, we don't respect Lord Shiva. But all Vaishnavas and all Shastras tell us Lord Shiva is the greatest of all personalities. And Lord Shiva is so powerful, but still he is so gentle. So today we want to spend a little time remembering a great pastime of Lord Shiva from Bhagavatam. I won't take too much time so that we have enough time for all of you. You should not go back too late also. And maybe at the end we can do some kirtan maybe for 5-10 minutes. If Vaishnava Seva Prabhu said. This shloka is very important from 4th canto, chapter 2, text 1. Prabhu, I just chant and then you can read in Gujarati, that's okay. Vidura uvacha bhave shilavatam shreshte daksho duhritta vatsalaha vidvesham makarod kasma anadrityadmajam sati bhave shilavatam shreshte daksho duhritta vatsalaha vidvesham makarod kasma anadrityadmajam sati bhave shilavatam shreshte daksho duhritta vatsalaha vidvesham makarod kasma anadrityadmajam sati. I think you read the translation and purport now in Gujarati.
તો પછી પોતાને પ્રિય પુત્રી આવા સુશીલ મહાપુરુષને આપકાર દર્શે આ શા કારણે તેમના પ્રત્યે આવો તીવ્ર દ્વેષ કર્યો, જેથી તેમની પુત્રી તથા શિવજીની પત્ની સતીને તેના દેહનો ત્યાગ કરવો પડ્યો.
Thank you, Prabhu. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Lord Shiva has one very important quality that we must learn.
भगवान शिव जी के अंदर एक बहुत ही बड़ी क्वालिटी है, बहुत सारा जो हमें सीखनी चाहिए.
In this Bhagavatam verse, he is described as best among the gentle.
ये श्लोक के अंदर उनको शीलवानों में श्रेष्ठ माना गया है.
So in Sanskrit that is known as Shilavatam.
संस्कृत में शीलवताम शब्द है.
Prabhupada writes in the purport that the symptom of one who is gentle is that he is not envious of anyone.
प्रभुपाद जी इधर लिखते हैं कि शीलवान उसे कहते हैं जिसके अंदर इसके प्रति ईर्ष्या नहीं होती.
If we are envious of anyone, then we cannot be gentle with them.
यदि हम किसी के ईर्ष्यालु हैं तो हम किसी उनके प्रति शीलवान नहीं हो सकते.
If we cannot control our anger, then we cannot be gentle also.
यदि हम हमारा गुस्से को नियंत्रित नहीं कर सकते तो हम शीलवान नहीं हो सकते.
If you are envious or jealous of someone, then how will it come out? That is very important.
यदि आप किसी के प्रति ईर्ष्यालु हैं, जलन करते हैं, कैसे आपके अंदर से ये शीलवान कुशलता जो है वो आएगा?
It will come out by you becoming angry with the person.
वो आपको अंदर से दूसरे के प्रति गुस्से के रूप में बाहर आएगा.
So anger is a symptom of envy.
तो जो गुस्सा जो है वो ईर्ष्या का स्वरूप है.
And why are we angry? And why are we envious? That is very important.
और हम क्यों गुस्से में होते हैं और क्यों दूसरे का द्वेष करते हैं, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है.
Bhagavatam tells us the source of envy and the source of anger is actually our pride.
कहता है कि हमारा गुस्से का कारण, हमारी ईर्ष्या का कारण जो है वो है हमारा अहंकार.
So this ahankar is the basis of why we cannot be gentle.
तो यही अहंकार इधर मूल स्थान बन जाता है जिसकी वजह से हम शीलवान नहीं हो पाते.
When we see Lord Shiva, sometimes we think that really Lord Shiva can be gentle.
कभी-कभी हमें लगता है कि क्या सही में भगवान शिव जो है वो शीलवान है.
He is always surrounded by so many beings who don't look like devotees.
ये तो हमेशा ऐसे जीवों से घिरे रहते हैं कि जो भक्ति जैसे दिखते भी नहीं.
So sometimes people think, how can someone who is surrounded by so many different kinds of entities be gentle?
तो लोग कभी-कभी सोचते हैं कि ऐसा व्यक्ति को जीव कि जो अलग-अलग जीवों के द्वारा जो मनुष्य जैसे भी नहीं है, शीलवान भी नहीं है, ऐसे गुणों से घिरे हुए हैं, फिर भी शीलवान कैसे हो सकते हैं?
But our Guru Maharaj told us, if there are some people who are very difficult in nature, and if you are gentle with them, then the most difficult people can become your friends also.
तो हमारे गुरु महाराज इसके ऊपर बहुत अच्छा मंतव्य देते हैं कि यदि आप शीलवान हैं किसी के साथ तो सामने वाला व्यक्ति चाहे कितना भी कठोर भी क्यों ना हो, लेकिन वो आपके साथ अच्छा बर्ताव करेगा.
That is why Lord Shiva has the most difficult function in this universe.
तो इसलिए ये ब्रह्मांड में भगवान शिव जी के पास जो कार्य है वो बहुत ही कठिन कार्य है.
Because he is the one who is in charge of all the ghosts, the goblins, right? And all the most difficult people, he is the person in charge.
क्योंकि वे किस जीवों के नाथ हैं, भूतों के नाथ हैं, पिशाचों के नाथ हैं, जो सबसे कठिन है उनसे भिन्न.
So it is not easy actually.
उनका जो कार्य है बिल्कुल भी आसान नहीं है.
So actually, Vidura asked Maitreya in this verse,
तो ये श्लोक में विदुर जी मैत्री जी को पूछ रहे हैं,
how is it that someone so gentle as Lord Shiva
ऐसा कैसे शक्य है, संभव है कि भगवान शिव के जैसा कोई शीलवान हो
Daksha could become so envious of?
और उनका दर्शन इतना ईर्ष्या करे.
This is the question he asked. And why is it that Daksha neglected his own daughter Sati?
और ऐसा क्यों हुआ कि अपनी पुत्री को सती को दर्शन ने दुर्लक्ष्य किया.
So this is the point that we want to talk about today.
तो ये मुद्दे पर आज हम चर्चा करने वाले हैं.
Lord Shiva was the son-in-law of Daksha.
भगवान शिव दक्ष के जमादार थे
And he was the husband of Sati.
और वे सती के पति थे
In fact, in Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva is known as Charachara Guru.
भागवत में लॉर्ड शिव को भगवान शिव को चराचर गुरु कहते हैं
He is the spiritual master of the entire world.
पूरे विश्व के वो आध्यात्मिक गुरु हैं
All animate and inanimate objects, Srila Prabhupada writes.
चल और अचल जो भी चीज है कर्म और चेतन इनके भी वे गुरु हैं
So he's very exalted personality actually.
वे बहुत ही उन्नत व्यक्ति हैं
But Bhagavatam tells us Lord Shiva had two very nice qualities.
लेकिन भागवत में कहता है कि भगवान शिव के अंदर दो महागुण हैं
One is Asutosh.
एक है कि आशुतोष
Anyone here by the name Asutosh? There is, isn't it? Yeah. Asutosh means one who is very easily pleased.
आशुतोष का मतलब है कि जो अत्यंत ही तुरंत प्रसन्न होता है
How many of us here are really Asutosh?
हम में से कितने आशुतोष हैं यहाँ
We want this, we want that. You know, if this is not, prasadam is not all right, we complain. If something is not all right, we complain. So we cannot be Asutosh.
हमको ये चाहिए वो चाहिए ये ठीक नहीं प्रसन्न ठीक नहीं तो हम खुश नहीं होते हम कंप्लेन करते हैं हम आशुतोष नहीं हैं
If you find fault with everyone, you cannot be Asutosh.
यदि आप सबके अंदर दोष देखते रहेंगे तो आप आशुतोष नहीं बन पाओगे
Asutosh means even if you give someone something, the person is very happy.
आशुतोष का मतलब है कि यदि आप किसी को कुछ थोड़ा सा भी दे दो तो वो संतुष्ट हो जाए प्रसन्न हो जाए
So Maharaj told us very nice point here on Bhagavatam.
भारत में ये भागवत में से बहुत ही सुंदर उत्तर है
If you want to attain the quality of Asutosh,
यदि आपको आशुतोष के गुण को प्राप्त करना है
then don't find fault.
तो दोष लिखना बंद कर दें
And you see the hand of Krishna in everything.
और भगवान कृष्ण का हाथ सभी चीजों में देखिए
Then even a small thing that comes, you will become pleased.
तो यदि कुछ छोटी चीज भी आपके पास आती है तो भी आप संतुष्ट हो जाओगे
So Lord Shiva was Asutosh and Lord Shiva was very gentle.
तो भगवान शिव आशुतोष भी थे और शिववान भी थे
And there is a connection between both, Shilavatam and Asutosh.
और शिवलता और आशुतोष दोनों के बीच में जुड़ाव है
Those who are easily pleased, they are automatically gentle by behavior.
जो अपने आप ही संतुष्ट होते रहते हैं वे शिववान हैं
But those who are very fussy about things, they cannot be gentle in behavior.
जिनको असंतोष रहता है छोटी छोटी चीजों में भी वे कभी शिववान नहीं होते
Now, the other person in this pastime is the opposite of Asutosh.
और ये लीला में दूसरा व्यक्ति है जो ये गुणों के पूरा विपरीत है
And his name is Daksha.
उसका नाम है दक्ष
And Daksha was very powerful also
दक्ष बहुत ही शक्तिशाली भी था
because he was one of the Prajapatis.
क्योंकि प्रजापतियों में से वो एक था
In other words, he was supposed to bring people and create this universe, populate the universe.
इसका मतलब था कि वो प्रजापतियों की उत्पत्ति करने वाला था
So one of his daughters was Sati.
उसमें से उनकी बहुत सारी बेटियों में से एक बेटी थी सती
And he was the father of all living entities.
और वे सभी जीवों के पिता तुल्य थे
So if you look at it in family tie, then Lord Shiva is son-in-law to Daksha.
तो कौटुंबिक भावना से देखें तो भगवान शिव जो है वो दक्ष के जमाता है
Sometimes father-in-law, son-in-law relationship little bit complicated.
कभी कभी ससुर और जमाई की जो नाता रहता है कभी कभी जटिल हो जाता है
Especially when father-in-law thinks he is very big and the son-in-law is very small.
विशेषतया जब ससुर जो रहते हैं वो ऐसा सोचते हैं कि मैं बहुत ही बड़ा और हमारा जो है जमाई जो है बहुत ही छोटा है
Daksha's father was Brahma,
दक्ष के पिता जी ब्रह्मा थे
so he's very powerful.
इसलिए वो बहुत ही शक्तिशाली थे
Now we start the pastime.
अभी हमारा कथा शुरू होता है
Once Bhagavatam tells us there was a very great fire sacrifice organized by all the devatas.
एक बार भागवत में लिखा हुआ है कि देवताओं के द्वारा बहुत ही सुंदर यज्ञ का आयोजन किया गया था
So devatas, rishis, munis, philosophers, they all attended.
देवता ऋषि तत्वचिंता ज्ञानी सभी उधर उपस्थित हुए थे
At the head of the assembly was Lord Shiva and Brahma.
और पूरी सभा के आगेवान थे शिव जी और ब्रह्मा जी
But one of the special guests was actually Daksha also.
लेकिन उसमें से मुख्य मेहमान में कौन आए थे दक्ष
So everybody had become seated and Daksha entered into the sacrificial arena.
तो सभी लोग बैठ गए थे अपने स्थान पर, लेकिन दक्ष वो पूरे यज्ञ की एरिया में प्रवेश किए.
So everybody stood up to greet him.
तो सभी उनको आदर करने के लिए, वंदन करने के लिए खड़े हो गए.
Only two people did not get up.
खाली दो व्यक्ति ही खड़े नहीं हुए.
One is the father, Brahma,
एक है उनके पिता ब्रह्मा जी, दो खड़े.
and the other one is the son-in-law, Shiva.
दूसरे हैं उनके जमाई शिव जी.
Now problem is this, Daksha, he sat down.
अभी मुसीबत ये हुई कि दक्ष तो बैठ गए,
But he was watching who is standing up and who is not standing up.
लेकिन वो देख रहे थे कि कौन खड़ा हुआ और कौन नहीं खड़ा.
You know, sometimes we come to temple, right?
आपको पता होगा कि कभी लोग मंदिर आते हैं,
Then we are watching who is saying Hare Krishna to us, who is not saying Hare Krishna to us, like Daksha.
तो हम भी देखते हैं कि दक्ष की तरह कि किसी ने हरे कृष्ण कहा, किसी ने हरे कृष्ण नहीं कहा.
And someone doesn't say Hare Krishna to us, then we also become like Daksha.
तो यदि कोई व्यक्ति हमें हरे कृष्ण नहीं कहता है तो हम दक्ष के जैसा बन जाते हैं.
So this is very dangerous because we are expecting people to respect us.
ये बहुत ही भयानक चीज है क्योंकि हम आशा रख रहे हैं कि लोग हमें आदर दें.
If you want respect from someone,
यदि आपको आदर चाहिए किसी के पास से,
you behave in such a way that people automatically respect you.
आप ऐसा बर्ताव कीजिए कि अपने आप में लोग आपको आदर करेंगे.
If you ask for respect,
यदि आप मांगते हैं,
people won't give it to you.
आपको कभी नहीं मिलेगा.
That's it. This is the problem with Daksha.
दक्ष के साथ यही प्रॉब्लम है.
So Daksha saw Brahma never stood up.
दक्ष ने देखा कि ब्रह्मा कभी खड़े नहीं हुए.
But what to say, Brahma is his father, isn't it?
उनको क्या कह सकते हैं, उनको पिता है.
But then he saw Shiva is lower in rank. He's married to my daughter. But he did not stand up.
फिर उन्होंने देखा कि शिव जी मुझसे निकला है, क्योंकि उन्होंने मेरे बेटे से शादी किया है, वो भी खड़े नहीं हुए.
So Prabhupada says in purport that Daksha could not tolerate that actually Lord Shiva's position was higher than Daksha. He could not tolerate it.
प्रोपा जी तात्पर्य बहुत सुंदर लिखते हैं कि दक्ष से सहा नहीं गया कि शिव जी जो है हकीकत में उनसे उच्च कक्षा में.
Actually in the structure of universe, Lord Shiva's position, Prabhupada writes, is higher than Brahma.
प्रोपा जी लिखते हैं कि ये ब्रह्मांड का जो रचना है वो इस प्रकार से है कि ब्रह्मा जी से भी उच्च कक्षा है, उच्च स्तर है शिव जी का.
So he became envious.
इसलिए दक्ष शिव जी से ईर्ष्या करते
Then he became angry.
और ईर्ष्या के कारण वो गुस्से भी हो गए.
And he decided that I must say something.
और फिर उन्होंने निश्चय किया कि मुझे कुछ बोलना ही होगा.
When we are proud,
जब हम
envious,
विशाल होते हैं,
and then angry,
क्रोधित हो जाते हैं,
we cannot control our tongue.
तब हमारी जुबान पे हाथ लगेगा.
Even if we say, I won't say anything, you will say something.
यदि आप बोल के दोगे मैं कुछ नहीं कहने वाला हूँ, फिर भी आपसे कुछ निकल ही जाएगा.
And you all know from your personal experience, once you say something, you cannot take it back.
और आप सभी को पता होता है कि एक बार आपके मुंह से कुछ आप सुना निकल जाए, आप कभी उसको वापस नहीं ले पाते.
Because your pride is such, you will not take it back.
क्योंकि हमारा अहंकार इतना गहरा रहता है, हम उसको वापस नहीं ले पाएंगे.
So now Daksha criticizes Lord Shiva.
अभी दक्ष ने भगवान शिव का अपमान कर दिया.
But he's very smart with his criticism.
लेकिन अपमान में भी वो बहुत ही स्मार्ट रहता है.
He says first, everybody hear me with great attention.
उन्होंने शुरू किया कि आप सभी कृपया मुझे बहुत ही ध्यान से सुनिए.
I am going to speak about bad manners of a gentle person.
मैं आज बताने वाला हूँ शीलवान व्यक्ति के दुर्व्यवहार के बारे में.
And I don't speak out of ignorance.
और मैं कोई अज्ञान नहीं हूँ.
And I promise you there is no envy in my heart.
और मैं आपको वचन देता हूँ कि मेरे हृदय में किसी के प्रति कोई ईर्ष्या नहीं है.
So when someone tells you, Prabhu, I'm going to tell you something,
यदि आपको कोई व्यक्ति कहता है कि प्रभु मैं आपको कुछ बताना चाहता हूँ,
actually it's not meant to offend you. Huh?
एक्चुअली मैं आपका अपराध नहीं करना चाहता हूँ,
Next moment they will offend you.
उसके अगले क्षण ही वो आपका अपराध करेंगे.
Because they know what they are going to do.
क्योंकि उनको पता है उनको क्या करना है.
You see, Bhagavatam is so practical, isn't it? Millions of years ago this happened.
सदियों पहले ये लिखा गया है.
Today we are still doing this.
और आज भी हम वही करते हैं.
We are still doing this actually. So we have not learned, you see.
हमने सीखा नहीं कुछ.
So now he says, Shiva has spoiled all your name and fame.
अब वो कहते हैं कि शिव जी ने आप सभी का नाम और प्रतिष्ठा डुबा दिया.
Why? Because he has not accepted me as being superior to him.
क्यों? क्योंकि उन्होंने मुझे उनसे श्रेष्ठ नहीं स्वीकार किया.
He has eyes like a monkey.
उसके बाद बंदर की जैसी आंखें हैं,
And yet he married my daughter whose eyes are like the deer.
लेकिन फिर भी उसने मेरे बेटे के साथ शादी की है जिसकी आंखें हिरण के जैसे सुंदर हैं।
In other words, he was saying this match is not a good match actually.
दूसरे शब्दों में वो कह रहा था कि इन दोनों का तो जोड़ी हो ठीक नहीं।
He did not even stand up to receive me.
वो खड़े भी नहीं हुए मुझे आवकार करने के लिए,
And he did not even welcome me with sweet words.
और उन्होंने मधुर शब्दों से मेरा स्वागत भी नहीं किया।
This Shiva lives in very dirty places like cemeteries.
ये शिव ऐसी जगह में रहता है कि जो स्मशान है।
And his Sangha is not sadhu Sangha. It is Sangha of all the ghosts and the demons.
और उसका कोई साधु संग नहीं है, उसका तो भूत संग है, पिशाच संग है।
Most of the time, he is naked like a madman.
ज्यादातर तो वो नंगे घूमते रहते हैं पागलों की तरह।
Sometimes he's laughing, sometimes he's crying.
कभी-कभी रोते हैं, कभी-कभी हंसते हैं।
People dress up very well.
जो अच्छे लोग रहते हैं वो अच्छी तरह से साफ सुथरे कपड़े पहनते हैं।
He takes the ashes from the dead bodies and puts it on his body.
मैं तो मृत शरीरों के जो वस्त्र रहते हैं वो अपने शरीर पर लगाते हैं।
He never takes bath regularly.
वो कभी अच्छी तरह से स्नान नहीं करते हैं।
I don't know how Daksha knows that, but he's saying that.
इसको ये लोग बात कैसे पता चलता है?
And he says people put nice mala of flowers, isn't it?
वो कहते हैं कि लोग फूल की पुष्पों की माला लगाते हैं।
He puts skulls and bones as garlands.
ये तो हड्डियों और खोपड़ियों की माला करते हैं।
Only in name he is Shiva, auspicious.
उसका नाम खाली शिव है, बदल कार्य।
By behavior he is most inauspicious.
लेकिन उसके व्यवहार से वो अत्यंत अमंगलकारी है।
Only because of my father Brahma did I hand over Sati to him.
और खाली मेरे पिता ब्रह्मा जी के कारण उनके नाते मैंने सती का हाथ पकड़ा।
So now he's blaming his father also.
वो अपने पिता को भी दोष दे रहा है।
And that also, after doing that, now I really regret my action.
और ये करने के बाद आज मैं अत्यंत पश्चाताप कर रहा हूँ।
Shiva's heart is filled with nasty things.
शिव का हृदय गंदी चीजों से भरा हुआ है।
You're thinking today is Shivratri and we're talking like this about Lord Shiva, huh?
आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि शिवरात्रि है और आज हम शिव की बात कर रहे हैं।
But you see from this episode how great Lord Shiva is.
लेकिन ये पूरे प्रसंग से हमें ये सीखना है कि शिव जी कितने महान हैं।
Now Daksha washed his mouth
अभी उसने अपना मुंह धो लिया कृष्ण,
and his hands
अपने हाथ धो लिए
and he cursed Lord Shiva.
और शिव जी को श्राप दे दिया।
He said, all the devatas can take the portion of the sacrifice except Lord Shiva.
सभी देवता जितने भी इधर उपस्थित हैं, देवताओं में से सभी लोग यज्ञ का भाग जो है वो स्वीकार करेंगे, लेकिन शिव जी को नहीं मिलेगा।
He is the lowest of the devatas.
क्यों? क्योंकि देवताओं में दोनों अधम है,
Nothing should be given to him.
उनको कुछ देना ही नहीं चाहिए।
The moment he said that, the whole assembly was very shocked.
जैसे उसने ऐसा बोला, श्राप दे दिया, पूरा सभागृह था रोष।
What was Lord Shiva's reaction is very important for us now.
लेकिन भगवान शिव जी का जो प्रत्युत्तर था, रिएक्शन था, वो हमारे लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है।
Bhagavatam tells us that Lord Shiva became very silent.
भागवत हमें बताता है कि भगवान शिव एकदम शांत हो गए, वो मौन हो गए,
He did not say a single word.
एक शब्द उन्होंने नहीं बोला।
Otherwise, it is very easy for us to say something after what Daksha says, isn't it?
ऐसा हमारे सामने दक्ष के जैसा किसी ने बोला होगा तो हमारे लिए बहुत आसान है उसका प्रत्युत्तर देना।
So Lord Shiva became very silent and he began meditating on the Supreme Lord Krishna.
भगवान शिव बहुत ही शांत हो गए, मौन हो गए और पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम भगवान कृष्ण के ऊपर बहुत ध्यान लगाने लगे।
And this is the best lesson we can learn from Lord Shiva.
भगवान शिव से कोई यदि पाठ सीखने जैसा है नहीं है,
That the devotees do not counteract any problems that are thrown to them because they don't see the problems as coming from living entities. They see it as coming from Krishna.
भक्त जो रहते हैं वो कभी उनके ऊपर फेंकी गई कोई भी मुसीबत हो उसको मुसीबत के रूप में नहीं देखते हैं, वे वैसे ही देखते हैं या किस जीव के द्वारा दी गई नहीं देखते हैं, वे कृष्ण के द्वारा दी गई देखते हैं।
But now Nandishvara and all the others followers of Lord Shiva, they became very upset.
लेकिन इसमें क्या हुआ कि नंदीश्वर वो और भगवान शिव के जितने महत्व थे वे सभी गुस्से हो गए
And they cursed Daksha and all the Brahmanas.
और उन्होंने दक्ष को श्राप दिया और सभी ब्राह्मणों को भी श्राप दिया।
First curse, whatever transcendental knowledge you have, it will go.
पहला श्राप ये था कि आपके पास जो भी दिव्य
Second, your intelligence will become dull as stone. Third, you will be very attached to karmakand, but not bhakti. And fourth, you will become beggars who have to beg from door to door to door. And last point, Nandishwara said, Daksha, you don't deserve to have a face or a head of a human. You will have the face and head of a goat. Now, Bhrigu Muni, who is standing up for Daksha, he starts to curse again. This is called counter curse. Huh? Curse, counter curse, curse, counter curse. They said all followers of Shiva, they will look like followers, but they will become atheists actually. They will become so foolish, they will imitate Lord Shiva. And instead of being as powerful as Lord Shiva, they will indulge in all the bad habits. They will grow long hair. They will live on wine and flesh. And they will smoke ganja. So you curse me and I curse you. Now in Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto, 2nd chapter, 33rd verse, there very nicely it is stated, when Lord Shiva heard both sides cursing, what did he do? This is the glorification of Lord Shiva. Bhagavatam tells us Lord Shiva became very morose, Prabhu. Morose means he's sad, you know. Why was he sad? Because he saw that both sides, they were wasting their time. If our aim is to remember Krishna, if the goal of Krishna consciousness is love of God, then why are we wasting time trying to prove I am right, you are wrong, I am right? What is the point of that? So he left the arena. He walked away. When he walked away, Daksha's pride began to grow. Because he saw that I can insult Lord Shiva and nothing has happened to me. I'm all right. I'm all right. And Prabhupada says in the purport, when a man becomes too proud of his material possessions, he can perform any disastrous act. And therefore, Daksha again acted out of false prestige. So many years passed. Lord Shiva very peacefully continued and Sati also peacefully continued. But Daksha never forgot. So now he organized a bigger fire sacrifice. And he sent invitation to everybody all around the universe. Only 2 persons did not receive invitation. Lord Shiva and his own daughter Sati. So it shows you one very important thing. If you keep envy in the heart, there is no place for Krishna. And you never forgive.
कभी किसी को क्षमा नहीं कर पाओगे।
If we are envious of people, we find it very hard to forgive anyone.
यदि हम लोगों की इच्छा करते हैं तो हम उनको क्षमा करना बहुत ही कठिन पाएंगे।
So with all this dirt in the heart, how to chant Krishna's name?
ऐसी जटिलता और जिंदगी हमारे हृदय में भरी पड़ेगी तो कैसे कृष्ण का नाम आएगा हमारे दिमाग में?
So Sati heard about the fire sacrifice.
सती ने सुना कि यज्ञ होने वाला है।
There was no phone there last time.
फोन नहीं था उस समय।
But I'm sure as the airplanes were flying, some of her sisters would have spoken to her and say, are you coming? Are you coming? And she said, I've got no invitation.
तो लेकिन स्वाभाविक है कि कुछ देवता इधर-उधर उड़ते उड़ते घूमे होंगे तो किसी से पूछा होगा कि ये है हम लोग जा रहे हैं, आप आ रहे हैं ना, आप आ रहे हैं।
So she felt, my sisters are there, my mother is there, my own father is there, I want to go.
तो उनको स्वाभाविक है, उनको अनुभव तो हुआ होगा, लगन हुई होगी कि मेरी बहनें जा रही हैं, मेरी माताओं जा रही हैं, तो मुझे भी जाना चाहिए।
I don't know whether any one of you have been in a position where you fight with your father-in-law and then your wife wants to go for the sister's wedding and then you sit down there and say, no, I don't want to go. And she says, let me go.
आपके साथ कभी शायद ऐसा हुआ होगा कि यदि आपका आपके ससुर से जुड़ा हुआ है और आपकी पत्नी जाना चाहती है लेकिन आप बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, ऐसा कभी हो सकता है कि इस तरह हुआ हो।
I know some devotees will tell their wives, don't talk to your father because he insulted me. And then the father will say, don't talk to your husband because he insulted me.
मुझे पता है कुछ लोगों को ऐसे केस होते हैं कि पति कहता है कि अपने पिता से बात मत करना, अपने पति को बोलता है क्योंकि उसने मेरा अपमान किया था और पिता बोलते कि तू मेरे पति से ज्यादा मत करना, न मत रखना क्योंकि उसने मेरा अपमान किया था।
So one day, Sati came to Lord Shiva.
एक दिन सती भगवान शिव के पास आई
And she said, my Lord, my sisters, my mother, many of the people I know, they're all coming to my father's place. There is big fire sacrifice.
तो उन्होंने कहा कि भगवान मेरा पिताजी का बहुत ही बड़ा यज्ञ है जिसमें तेरी माता, मेरी बहनें, सभी देवता लोग उधर उपस्थित होने वाले हैं।
If you desire, we may go.
यदि आपकी इच्छा है तो हम जाएं।
I also desire to decorate myself with a lot of gold. But the gold came from my father, not Shiva. My father's gold. I want to decorate myself and I want to go for the sacrifice also.
मेरी भी इच्छा है कि मैं मेरे पिता से मुझे सोना मिला है, गोल्ड मिला है, सिल्वर से कुछ नहीं मिला है।
In one letter, Srila Prabhupada writes to, I can't remember the disciple, he writes about Lord Shiva's greatness.
प्रभुपाद जी ने एक लेटर लिखा था, उसमें प्रभुपाद जी लिखते हैं भगवान शिव जी की महानता करता है।
Lord Shiva, Prabhupada was saying, the devotees were speaking, Prabhupada was saying that one time, Sati, she was very simple because Lord Shiva, he lived very simply. No house, right? No jewelry, nothing.
तो एक बार शिव जी जैसे सरल रहते हैं, शांति से रहते हैं, जैसे सती भी रहती थी क्योंकि उनके पास कोई जगह नहीं था, सोना जगह या घर भी नहीं था।
So what happened was, they only had small shelter.
उनको एक बहुत ही छोटा कुटिया जैसा था।
So one day she came, she never complained. She never complained.
लेकिन उन्होंने कभी कंप्लेंट नहीं किया।
But one day she came and told her husband, Lord Shiva, maybe sometimes, if I have some jewelry, it'll be nice.
कभी एक बार उन्होंने कहा कि कभी-कभी मेरे पास थोड़ा जगह तो अच्छा है।
So Lord Shiva said, all right, I will get you the jewelry.
भगवान शिव ने कहा ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, आपको जगह दे दूं।
So he went to the jeweler and asked the jeweler how much to pay for this jewelry. But it was too expensive and Lord Shiva had no money. So then the jeweler said, if you sell me your shelter, then you can get the jewelry. So Lord Shiva told Parvati, I will sell the shelter and you can get the jewelry. Do you want it? And Parvati said, no, never mind. Let's keep the shelter and forget about the jewelry. That's why she was asking in Bhagavatam that at least let me wear the jewelry my father has bought for me and go for the sacrifice. So Shiva, be kind to me. If I'm your half of your body, then show kindness to the other half. Accept my request. Lord Shiva was not angry, but he smiled. He said, my dear wife, you want to go to the house, right, to a friend's house without being invited. How do you feel? It's okay, provided the friend does not find fault with you. That is very important. If you go, you will not be honored by your father. Only because you are my wife. And you will become very sorry that you went. Friends and relatives, they welcome each other by standing up. I did not stand up in front of Daksha. Because frankly, I was absorbed remembering the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So actually, I had nothing in my heart against Daksha. In spite of my instructions, if you want to go, then go. But future will not be good for you. When you are insulted by your own father Daksha, that insult will be equal to death. So Lord Shiva has already told Sati Mata, please don't go, don't go. Sati did not hear her husband. She left for Daksha's sacrifice. But Lord Shiva was not angry with her. He understood why she was wanting to go. Again, you see how gentle and how easygoing Lord Shiva is actually. But to protect her, he told Nandi and all the others, you go with her now. See if there's any problems. When Sati arrived in the assembly, all her sisters came to embrace her. Her mother was a little bit scared because Daksha was there, But she saw that everybody was around her, but Daksha completely ignored her, her own father. Bhagavatam tells us that of all the daughters, Sati was Daksha's favorite daughter. But when you have envy in your heart, you become blind to love actually. So Sati became very upset. Daksha refused to talk to her, sacrifice was going to go on, and her husband was completely ignored. And now Sati speaks to her father. Lord Shiva is the most beloved of all entities. He has no enemies and no one. Everyone is dear to him. No one but you, Father, could be envious of such a great personality. A man like you simply finds fault with others. Lord Shiva, however, finds no fault in anyone. Instead, if someone has a little good quality, he magnifies the quality. And you have found fault with such a great soul. It is stated that if one hears this kind of criticism, one should block off one's ears. Or go away if you cannot refute the person. But I am most unfortunate because this body has come from you, Father. The only way to get rid of this is to get rid of my unworthy body. Because you have given that body to me. And you have blasphemed Lord Shiva. She says very nicely, if someone has taken poisonous food, the best treatment is to vomit it. So Sati Mata sat facing north. I don't know where is north here, but she sat facing north. Okay. She changed her sari into saffron color. She did achaman with water. She closed her eyes to absorb herself in the process of mystic yoga. Because she was so powerful, she carried her life air upwards. And she brought it all the way up to her eyebrows. She meditated on that air until it became very fiery. And she remembered her exalted husband, Lord Shiva. Because of her sadhu sangha with Lord Shiva in her heart and her mind. Bhagavatam tells us her heart and her mind became cleansed. This is the effect of sadhu sangha, Prabhus and Matajis. If you remember someone who remembers Krishna, then you will also remember Krishna. So what sangha we take becomes very important. And Sati, while remembering Jai Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, and while Sati remembered Lord Shiva, her mind and her heart became completely cleansed. And at that very moment of purity, right, her body went into a blazing fire. A great roar went across the whole universe. But Daksha remained unperturbed. Refused to say anything still. Did not repent in his heart. I think that's really too much, isn't it? When Lord Shiva's followers came, that was the time they saw Sati Mata dying. They took up weapons and prepared to kill Daksha. But you remember Bhrigu Muni, isn't it? So by his mystic power, he summoned great warriors known as Ribhus. Very powerful. And they defeated Nandishvara and all Lord Shiva's servants. They go back to Lord Shiva and they tell him what has happened. Is it battery, bro? 1 minute, changing battery. Without Prasanatma Prabhu, this is not possible. Best translator in the three worlds. I don't know Gujarati, but many devotees who know, they tell me that his Gujarati is very sweet. Right, Prabhu? It's very sweet, right? Is it okay now, Prabhu? Okay, now we are ready. So now, Lord Shiva, what does he do now? He decided now is the time to teach Daksha a lesson. Remember, Lord Shiva was not envious at this point of time of Daksha. Very important. Huh? He was not envious. He was not angry. But he fulfilled the role of Charachara Guru, the spiritual master of all the three worlds. He only decided to intervene because Sati was harmed. When Vaishnavas are harmed, we don't counteract. Na asya tat pratikurvanti. We don't counteract. But if another Vaishnava is harmed, then we will do something about it. Of course, we don't recommend you do what Lord Shiva is going to do. But we should say something. This is not correct, Prabhu. You should not speak like this. Lord Shiva took one strand of hair and he smashed it to the ground. And from there, the great Virabhadra arose in the sky. He was so powerful and big, Bhagavatam says, that his head was touching the clouds. And Virabhadra led a great army back to the sacrifice of Daksha. At the sacrifice, Daksha began to see strange omens that something bad is going to happen. And within a few minutes, Virabhadra and the whole group of Lord Shiva's followers, they descended on the sacrifice. They broke all the pots. They extinguished all the fires. Anybody who was running, they blocked the way. They arrested everyone there. All the devatas were arrested. Virabhadra, he went to this Bhrigu Muni. And you know what he did? He tore off his mustache. Have you tried tearing off your mustache? If your friend next to you has a mustache, you can try. It's very painful. Then he looked at another rishi known as Bhaga. And he took out the eyes of Bhaga. You know why? Because when Daksha was cursing Lord Shiva, Bhaga's eyes were going up and down, big and small, and his eyebrows were moving up and down. One more rishi called Pusha. He was smiling all the time when Daksha was insulting Shiva. So Virabhadra knocked out all his teeth. So now he can't smile anymore. You know? Now Virabhadra dragged Daksha. He put his head on the wooden device for the sacrifice. And with one sweep of the cleaver, he beheaded him. Bhagavatam says he beheaded him very cleanly.
और अपने अस्त्र से एक ही जाके में सरलता से उसने उसका सिरछेद कर दिया.
When Indra wanted to behead Vritrasur in the 6th canto, he took 365 days to cut Vritrasur's neck.
जब इंद्र वृत्रासुर का सिरछेद करना चाहते थे, तब इंद्र को लगे 365 days.
Imagine 1 year you're trying to cut somebody's head.
सोचिए एक साल लगे आपको किसी का सिर काटने के लिए कितना है.
Because Vritrasur was a pure devotee of the Lord.
क्यों? क्योंकि वृत्रासुर भगवान का शुद्ध भक्त था.
But Veerabhadra took 10 seconds to cut Daksha's head.
वीरभद्र को 10 सेकंड में लगे दक्ष का सिरछेद करने.
Because there was no purity to Daksha's consciousness.
क्योंकि दक्ष की चेतना में तनिक भी शुद्धता पवित्रता नहीं थी.
He took the head up and showed everyone in victory.
इसे दिखलाते हुए उसने दक्ष का माथा अपने हाथ में
And he threw it to the southern side. This side is southern.
और दक्षिण दिशा में उसने दक्ष के माथा को फेंक दिया.
That's why even till today, Lord Shiva is known as Dakshina Murti.
और इसलिए भगवान शिव को दक्षिणामूर्ति के नाम से भी जाना जाता है.
Because Daksha was thrown to the south.
क्यों? क्योंकि दक्ष को दक्षिण दिशा में फेंका गया.
And southern direction is auspicious for Lord Shiva.
दक्षिण दिशा में भगवान शिव के लिए मंगल करता है.
Now, when that happened, all the members of the assembly, together with Brahma, they all went to see Lord Shiva and they said, Lord Shiva, please, don't do this.
जब सभी देवताओं ने ये सब देखा, तो सभी देवता भगवान के साथ शिव जी के पास चले गए और उन्होंने कहा कि जब भगवान शिव कृपा करके ऐसा मत कीजिए.
Lord Shiva was very, very peaceful
भगवान शिव बहुत ही शांत थे
and he was in deep meditation.
और वे गहरे ध्यान में होने लगे.
And Brahmaji is the only one who spoke to him.
और ब्रह्मा जी एक अकेले ऐसे थे जो उनसे बात कर सकते.
And in 4.647 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmaji tells him a very nice point. 4.6, Prabhuji. 4.647.
4 और 47 के श्लोक में बहुत ही सुंदर बताया गया है.
And our Guru Maharaj liked this verse very much.
हमारे गुरु महाराज को ये श्लोक बहुत पसंद था.
Pritagdiya karma drisho durashayaha parodayena hridrujo nisha paranduruktai vidutanti aruntudas tanma vadidaiva vadan bhavad vidaha. The translation is very nice. In the translation, Brahmaji is speaking to Lord Shiva.
ये अनुवाद बहुत ही सुंदर है और अनुवाद में ब्रह्मा जी शिव जी से बात कर रहे हैं.
If you have one standard for yourself and one standard for someone,
यदि आपके पास आपके खुद के लिए एक अलग स्टैंडर्ड है और दूसरे के लिए एक अलग स्टैंडर्ड है.
if you're very attached to fruitive activities,
यदि आप सकाम चीजों में बहुत ही आसक्त हैं,
if you're very mean-minded, someone is doing well, you don't like it.
आप बहुत ही संकुचित मनोवृत्ति वाले हैं, कोई कुछ करता है तो आपको पसंद नहीं पड़ता है.
If you use harsh and piercing words to hurt others,
दूसरों को नुकसान पहुंचाने के लिए आप बहुत ही तीखे और कड़वे वचन कहते हैं.
Lord Shiva, you don't have to kill such persons.
भगवान शिव फिर भी आपको ऐसे व्यक्ति को मारना नहीं.
They are killed by the will of the Lord himself.
क्योंकि वे तो भगवान की इच्छा से अपने आप ही मर गए हैं.
You don't have to kill them again.
आपको उनको पुनः मारने की आवश्यकता नहीं है.
And now Lord Shiva smiled at Brahma and spoke to him.
और तब भगवान शिव ब्रह्मा जी के सामने स्मित करते हैं और बोलते हैं.
My dear father,
वे कहते हैं कि मेरे प्रिय पिता,
I don't mind the offense to me,
मुझे मेरे प्रति जो अपराध हुआ है उसमें बिल्कुल पड़ी नहीं.
but I have punished them in order to show them what is the right way.
मैंने उनको सजा इसलिए दी है ताकि उनको पता चले कि सही बात क्या है.
And this is the greatness of Lord Shiva.
यही शिव जी की महानता है.
Even though he is the most gentlest,
क्योंकि वे फिर भी बहुत ही बड़े सेवा,
he is most easily pleased,
वे आशुतोष हैं,
he has no pride.
फिर भी उनके अंदर बिल्कुल अभिमान.
He did not do this to Daksha because of himself,
उन्होंने अपने खुद के लिए उन्होंने दक्ष के सामने समर्पण किया.
but he wanted to show the world that those who are proud, envious and angry, they will be punished by the laws of material nature.
वे दुनिया को दिखाना चाहते थे, जो लोगों को दिखाना चाहते थे कि जो अभिमानी हो, ईर्ष्यालु हो, गुस्से में हो, क्रोधित हो.
So Lord Shiva came to the fire sacrifice
भगवान शिव यज्ञस्थली में पहुंचे
and he gave him the head of a goat.
और उन्होंने दक्ष को बकरे का सिर दे दिया.
Why the goat head? Huh? Bhagavatam says this is to show Daksha that that is actually his true position in life. He's a goat. Sometimes we look like human beings, isn't it? But our consciousness is like animals actually. Then he saw Bhaga. Remember Bhaga's eyes came out? So he told the god, Devata, Mitra. Mitra has many eyes. He told him, give him one eye. Then he went to Pusha. Pusha had no teeth now, isn't it? So he told Pusha, you have many disciples. You tell them to chew the food and then give it to you. And then he went to Brigu. And he, from the goat, he took out some beard, hair. And he gave him the hair for the mustache. Now Daksha came to his senses. And now he says something which is very important on Mahashivraatri. Lord Shiva, I did not know your full glories. I threw sharp arrows of words to pierce your heart. But you never threw the arrows back. I was going down to hell because of my behavior. But you took compassion on me and you have awarded me a fair punishment. I request you, you please be pleased by your own mercy. Because no one can be as merciful as you in all the three worlds. Mahashivraatri Mahosattva ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Should we do Kirtan? Shall we do Kirtan for a few minutes? Is it okay? Are you all hungry or something? You okay? Okay. Let's do a bit of Kirtan then.
Yes, Devakinandan Prabhu ki.
I can sit
down.
No? Sit on. Prabhu, I don't need this. This is better. Yeah. No, I'm okay. How to open this? What is the number, Prabhu? Is there a number? Huh? 3 zeros, okay. 0, 0, 0. Okay. Okay. This is a new harmonium or old? Yeah. Can Prabhu? जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की। हरे कृष्णा